I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
All right, 2025. We gotta get Lance out of there.
I know. I'm just lazy. I'm just lazy.
Year, no show. Looking at the predictions from last year, you couldn't even be bothered to make predictions. Even I can be bothered to make predictions. So we'll have to do something about that. Yeah. I might have to take it into my own hands, like the old days.
I even tried to get the dude to I forgot that he wasn't on the prediction show last year. I didn't realize that it's been a full year that Lance has not done the show. So yeah, that's the last of the Mohicans, man.
The OGs.
Last of the OGs. It's over.
Yeah. We even engaged with him over his crummy golf picks this weekend.
Fuck's sakes.
No, there's no way that we could have started the telling Lance golf picks of 2025 than him to go second and third. Like, just beautiful. Like, it gets no more perfect than that. Yeah.
We're 1 out for the old man. But the three of us are back for another year of the MMA analysis. This is, I don't know, 15, something like that at this point.
We talked about it on the last year's pod. I listened to it last night. I think
it's a lot of years.
It's
enough that like a whole bunch of people have aged through the podcast and disappeared forever.
So just a quick one. So I went back, I think, as far as I could find when I made the spreadsheet. The earliest one I have is 2015, and the hosts in 2015 were Brad, Jay, R.I.P. Sean, and Lance.
That's not even that old.
Yeah, and
it
was around like
when I took over the feed or whatever for a little while.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Time.
Yeah.
The other thing that's been going on for a long time and continues this year, Toutmaster.
11th year.
Was how many people? 217 or something last year.
217, I believe. Yep.
Had almost like an 11K pot last year. It was pretty nice.
Winner took home almost 4, I believe. We're thinking about.
It was 45.
Just under $3,800.
Okay, 4.
Not bad. We'll see if we can get those numbers again this year. But yeah, that's a thing you should do. I will do my annual donation of $50 and make picks until I think I made it to like June.
You might have had your best. You might have had your best year getting picks in a while last year.
What? When I went off the rails, I really went off the rails on this one. Just completely abandoned it. Didn't even look at scores. Some guy who has me blocked won, apparently. Congrats to him. I don't know. Cool. See, we don't discriminate. But yeah, sign up for that this year. And what we're really here for is the recap, the prediction show. We don't do the best fights and the best fighters because most of the time that shit's really obvious. And you've already heard a bunch of that for the past month already. So why would we do it? So we're just going to do the champion picks from last year, which we mostly got wrong. The champion picks for this coming year. So who's going to have the belts at the end of the year, which we'll mostly get wrong again. And some breakout fighters. So yeah, that's running a tight ship tonight. So unless we have anything to plug before we get into it. let us commence. Last year, women's strawweight division, Sean and I picked Weili Zhang to be the champion. Wes made the ceremonial Tatiana Suarez pick.
Get ready.
There's always got to be one. There's probably going to be one again this year. So, Sean, I believe, did we get that right? Or is somebody else champ? I don't watch this.
No, we got it right. She only fought
Nailed
once this
it.
year. Yeah, it was that was an easy one. Wes, he picked Suarez. He missed it possibly by a couple months, which is hilarious because Suarez didn't even fight last year. So
it happened.
That's the risk you run.
That's the risk you take every time.
The state of strawweight is just don't fight and you might get a title shot because
there you go.
It's become that bad.
Yeah. So who are you picking this year?
I can go ahead and go. I'm picking Suarez again
every year. Do it.
This year, at least, I only got to make it like 7 weeks to get her to a fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's going to be my saving grace this time is that I don't have to wait 6 months for her to snap her neck again. I only got to get through 7 weeks, and I just think that she has the best shot at beating Weili out of anybody out there, and I still think she can. We will see if she makes it to the cage. I don't think it's necessarily I don't favor her as much as I have in past years because this is starting to add up. I think she's like 32 now. It's not like she's 26 snapping her neck over and over. So I like Suarez, and I think she'll have the belt at the end of the year because I don't think she'll fight again. I think she's going to win the belt in February, and she's probably going to hurt herself, and we're going to end up with some kind of interim fight by the end of the year. So there'll probably be 2 shitty belts out there in a division that nobody really cares about. So, but yeah, I got Suarez.
Sean?
I think it's pretty easy. If you think Suarez is going to win, it's going to be Suarez because, like Wes said, what are the chances that she fights more than once? I'm not convinced she fights once. So I mean, I'm
7 weeks.
I'm taking the incumbent. I'll take Zhang because either Suarez doesn't make the fight or she beats Suarez, which that's definitely possible. Yeah, I don't mind Zhang in that fight. And then after that, I don't know. Is she going to fight Handy Jobs? Some Handy Jobs? I think she can beat Handy Jobs. So got to go with Zhang again.
Sean foreshadowed it a little bit. It's going to be Vina Handy Joba. She is going to be your 2025 women's strawweight champion. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Watch that. Rob Schneider looking weirdo win the belt.
So who do you think she'll fight Weili that Suarez is going to lose or not make that fight and be her against Weili and she beats Weili?
Weili beats Suarez, and then Weili's getting old. She's getting old. She's going to fall apart in one of these fights. And,
I think she has to fall apart because I think she's way better than Handy.
Obviously.
But I like the pick. It's Brad's known to go outside the box a little.
I'm just a year too early. It's usually the problem.
I mean,
like last year, 3 of 11.
What better fighter to go out of the box on is one that can literally see outside and the other side of the box.
That's right. Now you're talking. Women's flyweight division. Sean, you picked Erin Blanchfield. Wes, you picked Valentina. And I picked the man on fire. Who was right? I think Sean's right there, huh?
No, that is Wes. That's correct. Shevchenko is the champ.
Right?
I think this is one where Brad could be a year too early. Maybe.
Well,
and on that note,
I got to move on. Sean, you go first. Who you got?
Yeah, I got man on fire. I think Shevchenko is getting older. We have seen some holes in her game. She is seemingly riding on the grappling at this point in her career against some fighters. So Firo work on that takedown defense, and I think she beats her on the feet. And who cares if she
Wesley.
fights again?
I mean, yeah. I gotta go with Shevchenko again. I don't think Man on Fire can beat her, honestly. I just think that she's still just a bad matchup for just about every chick in that division. If there is one that can give her, that has a chance, it's definitely Man on Fire. But like Shevchenko's just a really bad matchup for everybody, man. If she has to, she can get on top of you and just hump for 25 minutes like it's nothing. So getting older though, so yeah, maybe Brad was a year early, and y'all could be right for sure.
So does that mean I should move a year ahead again? Because if I was going to do that,
There's somebody.
I'd maybe pick Natalia Silva.
Yeah, that's what there's somebody that could be another year removed, but
Or there's that is that the one that fights in PFL? She's British. Is
Yeah,
she coming over to the UFC or
I don't think so.
the Ditch Hog?
Yeah,
Devikova?
Devikova, yeah.
Jeff?
Like
Yeah.
she's fun. I don't think they're gonna let her. I don't think they're gonna let her go. She's gonna be one like Kayla Harrison, where they're just gonna give so much money to, like, waste money on that. She's like, fuck that 20-20 or 15-15. You know.
I also forget that they're not just the UFC now. It's a different company, so they can't just like a fighter magically appears in the UFC anymore. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm not going to say Natalia Silva. I'm going to save that one for next year. We're going to go with last year's pick of the Man on Fire.
I think Silva is absolutely the next in line when Shevchenko is finally old and gone. I think she's definitely the most talented chick there. I wasn't sold on her up until like this past year. She's looked insane.
I didn't watch that much last year, so.
Well, she fought Andrade and just was like fucking incredible. So
There you go. Speaking of incredible, the women's bantamweight division. Boom. Here we go. Last year, we had a couple of picks for MBS, old Myra Bonesaw. And a pick of Holly Holm by yours truly. Nailed it. I think we're all not doing well there because Juliana Pena, really, again with this shit.
One of the
year.
biggest robberies.
That was a bad decision. Very bad decision.
My pick for this year is that it's going to be they're going to fold the division. Finally, it's done. So they're pulling
Manifested, Brad.
Yep.
We've been saying
nobody
for so many years now.
Hey, it worked in featherweight.
That's right.
It worked in featherweight. I'm
West.
taking.
No, West. We're going back and forth here.
Yeah,
it's gonna be West this time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna pick Harrison, but I'm gonna take a path that's not just her beating Juliana Pena. Amanda Nunes is gonna come back and beat Pena. And then Harrison and Nunes is going to fight towards the end of the year. And Harrison's going to beat Nunes and be the champ at the end of the year.
We'll give you 1.5 points if you get it all right. Fucking nothing. It's not exactly that.
I hope none of them fight and they just vote the shit.
I'm doing the reverse of that. I think Pena and Harrison fight, and Harrison beats her, and then Nunes comes out of
Nunes beats Harrison.
Fight, and Nunes beats Harrison.
I thought about that, but I was thinking about that matchup, and I just, if Nunes,
I don't think Nunes comes back to fight Pena. It's a fucking waste of time. She'll come back to fight Harrison.
Yeah, that and just I don't that matchup to me, like, I don't know. I don't know if Nunez even has anything left, bro. But we'll see.
I mean, it is
I think
bantamweight.
I think she fights this year, though. I think she's talked out of retirement, and she definitely fights one of those chicks this year for sure.
Yay.
You're not gonna watch it anyway.
A fighter that I did watch last year,
Sweet.
flyweight division. Yeah, we all stuck with our boy Pantoja, and he did the job a couple times.
Incredible. Love
Yeah.
that dude.
What did we have for? We'll do champs first. We'll do breakouts after. Or do we want to just do division by division? I know we just talked about this beforehand, but we always have to talk about it.
We'll give our new champs, and then we'll recap our breakouts, and then, but for this division, and then you know.
Sounds good. Yes. All right, back to you, Sean. Who are we bringing home in 2025?
Man, it's hard to go against that dog in Pantoja.
I thought you were going to say Raw Dog.
No, I wasn't, because he's kind of got Raw Dog's number. Pantoja is awesome. Just balls to the wall fighter. Doesn't really have too much defense, but he's just an animal on the ground and will take punches and look like he's dead and come back. And he's an amazing fighter. So I don't know exactly what his path is. I think he probably fights Kai Kara France, and that's interesting, but I think he can take him down. I don't know who else he fights. I mean, it's flyweight, so everybody's good, but there's just a whole bunch of rematches kind of left for him. So I don't know the exact path, but I think he ends up the champ.
If Kape beats Raw Dog, that's a fresh matchup.
Yeah,
right?
that's a fresh one. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going with Pantoja. Pantoja can look like how Sean described him, of course. He's that fucking dog. Or he could look like he did in his last fight against like a legitimate like dude in Esseker and just maul his ass. Like, that's how good that guy is. Who beats him, man? Like, seriously, who beats him? Dog fight or not? When you get to that level too, like, fight IQ matters, and look at the Eggman. Look, like, a guy like that is in a fight that he could win a title and makes a brain dead decision. Those are the type of fights that Pantoja will win time and time again. Who beats that guy? And one of the most exciting fighters in this sport. Just must see fucking TV. There's a couple fresh matches though, like Kakara. That's dangerous. Kape, if he beats Raw Dog, that's a dangerous fight too. So there are good, dangerous matchups for Pantoja next year, and I think we're gonna see a couple more good Pantoja defenses next year.
Well, and in a division like flyweight, the Egg Dude went from
prelims to
the
main
title.
event. Yeah.
So it's you never know which flyweights are lurking around the corner sometimes either. So we'll see what the path is for Pantoja, but we're gonna do the back-to-back sweeps for Pantoja. Gotta stick with the dude. Yeah, gotta stick with him. Breakout fighters. So we used to pick these for all the divisions. We stopped picking them for the women's division. I almost stopped picking champs for the women's divisions this year. But hey,
I mean, we could also stop picking past middleweight as well. It's kind of a fucking cesspool.
That's
even middleweight's pushing it.
We can just do the real divisions, like the WEC vintage divisions.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway, for breakout fighters last year, Sean had something called Almadeyev, who went 3-0.
I didn't even spell it right when I fucking put it in there.
Okay, that makes more sense why I didn't know who the fuck Almadeyev was.
Yeah.
Amadeus.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Wes had some guy that didn't fight. So excellent pick. Big breakout there. And I had Joshua Van, who went 3-1. So not great, but pretty good. Is he ranked now?
That is a good.
He is. He's 15.
I mean, he is
Boom.
15. That's not bad.
Broke into the rankings.
There you go.
I'll count that as a win. So, I mean, Sean won, but I'll take like a little point there as well.
Yeah.
Sean, this year you have a fella by the name of Ramazan Tamirov. Did you spell that one correctly?
I did, because I copy and pasted it from Tipology to make sure I got it right.
Tell me about this fella. Never heard of him.
Yeah, he only fought once in 2024. He knocked out CJ Viagra later in the year. 5 straight first round knockouts as a flyweight. That's
And he gets a matchup.
That's pretty fun, man. So he's fighting Charles Johnson next. So he can make a decent leap if he beats Johnson.
Fascinating. Wesley, do you have somebody for this one?
Yeah, and I think with breakouts too, you got to look. Do they have a fight early in the year to where they could, they get a name, they can move up. So I'm going with somebody Brad did, because I'm not sure he really broke out this year, but I think this year he can. He's got a big fight early. And then after that, you could be looking at top 10 fights. And I think it's Joshua Van. I think he's a year behind. He was okay last year. He lost that fight early on, had some cancellations, then had a couple nice decisions to end the year. He gets a fight in March against Bruno Silva, who is right outside the top 10. I think whoever wins that is looking at top 10 dudes. And by the end of the year, Joshua Van could be well up inside the top 10. I think the kid's very talented. I know that loss early in the year when he got caught by Charles Johnson, who's never knocked out a man in his entire life. So I think that was kind of fluky. But yeah, I think this is the year Van breaks out.
Beef, but I respect it. A breakout can be more than one thing also.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be like Wes just said, going from 15th to well inside the top 10, going from nowhere to the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I think, could go from nowhere to maybe inside top 10. And that's my boy, Raphael Steves. Macapa. He already beat Charles Johnson. And he's fighting some bum coming up. And he'll smoke that dude. Might get into the rankings after that. And he's sticking with a theme of my Nova União guys from days gone past. I don't even know if Pedernera is still coaching there.
I think there's a few that I'm looking at breakout fighters too. There's some Brazilians, some young Brazilians that I think are on the come up in these lighter weight divisions over the next couple of years. Yeah. I will say too, shout out to my pick last year, Park. If they could get this guy out of China or wherever the fuck and get him a fight, like the dude looks insane and then didn't even get a fight last year because they can't get out of China, which we'll talk about with the cum shot later, I think. These dudes are going to have way less problems getting visas to fight over the next few years. That's for fucking sure.
Yep.
Except if they're from certain countries and then they might not be allowed.
Well, I mean, unless you're
just like now,
unless you're stone cold black from Africa, you're probably going to be able to get a visa to fight because all Dana's got to do is make a call now, literally make a call, and you're going to get a visa.
Yep. Fun times. Anyways, let's move it along to the bantamweight division. Last year, we had a couple of picks for the Georgian Snooze Machine, and then we had the fun pick of Henry Cejudo, which almost made it. Just, super close. Was actually a competitive-ish start to the fight with Merab, and then kind of went downhill from there, but
he got another tough one. He's got a tough one coming up. Did you see? Y'all saw the Seattle card, right?
Card.
Yeah. Against Yadong.
Yeah, and then Dom taping himself back up, putting the bubble gum and straws back together.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No.
Anyway, you two obviously got that one correct. And I think on this one, we're back to Wesley.
Let's see. I am going to stick with Marab. I think Marab is going to be Umar. Myself personally, I just think he's the better wrestler. I think he's a better wrestler than all these dudes. I think he's a better wrestler than Umar. I know Umar has probably the better. I don't even know if he's got the better hands. He got one knockout in his life, and now apparently he has better hands than everybody. I don't buy that. So I'm not sure Umar has who has the fucking cardio of fucking this guy. Like, it's insane. And a fucking chin as well. Like, the guy took shots from fucking O'Malley and just walked the dude down. The third or fourth round was outboxing the dude, was landing all kinds of shit. The guy's a fucking problem, man. Who beats that dude? I think he beats Umar. I think he'll probably get the O'Malley rematch and beat that dude again. They're going to be close fights with Marab because that's just what he puts himself in. They're going to be decisions. You're going to have to worry about judges always, but I just don't know who like out wrestles, out cardio that guy. Not even Umar. So Marab is my champ at the end of the year.
Sean?
I'm going to take Umar. I think that's a close fight. That number, the odds on that fight are pretty wild. I think it's going to be one where you're like, that's dog or pass. And then Umar wins a close fight. And you're like, there was value.
Yeah.
Felt like made a lot of those bets last year. Yeah, I like Umar. I think he's competitive in the wrestling and the striking is better. It's going to be a close fight, but I'll pick him to beat Dvalishvili, and then I don't know if O'Malley wants to get slaughtered, he can get slaughtered.
Yeah, he runs O'Malley. He fucking runs that dude.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then I don't know if that doesn't happen, Peter Yan. I think Umar can beat Peter Yan as well.
Sounds like this Umar fella's pretty good.
He seems to be.
Was he actually beaten?
He beat Corey Sandhagen.
Ooh. I'm done underestimating Sean O'Malley. He's earned my respect finally. He's gonna come back. He's gonna be champ at the end of the year. I mean, he's earned my respect as a fighter, as a human being. He's fucking trash bag.
It was competitive.
Are you trying to curse this guy, or what's going on here?
I don't know.
That works for me if you're trying to curse him.
It was competitive against Marab, dude. Like I could get the argument.
I know that fight should not have been. I think Marab gave him too much respect. I think that fight is wider.
Because when he was late in that fight, when he finally was like, fuck this, I don't care anymore, he was landing on O'Malley and shit. Like he was walking him down and landing on But O'Malley's got some pop, man, for a fucking crackhead, meth head looking motherfucker. That dude can pop, dude.
Yep.
That's what it's going to take against Marab at some point. Or perhaps this Umar fella. I'm going to be betting on Marab. How could you not in this spot? Anyway, last year we had some breakout picks. Sean, Rinya Nakamura, did he do things?
He only fought once, unfortunately.
He was like a minus 700 favorite or something, right?
Yeah.
He's a former wrestler, if I remember correctly. See, I know things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can one fight. Doesn't cut it.
No.
What do you got for this year?
I'm going with him again. I think he can get more fights, and if he gets more fights, he seems to be good. So I'm hoping he can get at least 2, and that second fight is a big step up from the first one. And if he goes 2-0 and has an impressive second win, then maybe he's getting close to a ranking.
Fair enough. Wesley, last year. Rodriguez. Oh, Christian Rodriguez.
Christian, yes, sir.
He's the fat guy. That's not a bantamweight. So nope, that one doesn't count either. Do we want to pick a bantamweight this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a guy that I don't know if he's good or not. I don't. But if he is, he's gonna get pushed so fucking hard by the UFC, and that's Talbot. If Talbot beats Barcelos, and that's in a couple weeks, if he wins that fight, he's gonna get a big main card fight coming up in the summertime. And if he wins that, you're talking like a massive jump for that guy. They're gonna push the shit out of him if he beats Barcelo. So I think he can. Like I don't know how good the guy is, how good he can be, but they're giving him a good like sort of name matchup that's winnable. An old dude that's on his last leg. So I think Talbot could absolutely have a huge breakout year if he's anywhere decent of a fighter.
Last year I went with Fareed Basharat. He went 2-0, but he's really boring, so it doesn't count. See, I'm a fair judge here. This year we're gonna steer away from the boring. We're gonna steer into the crazy. We're gonna go with the Loke Dog.
Oh.
If he gets a couple wins,
bad.
He's fun. He's crazy. He could be somebody that they get behind. I don't think he's actually any good, but it could click for him.
You know, a dude I looked at that I would like to know if this guy's ever going to fight. Like, is Montel Jackson ever going to be like a consistent fighter? Like every time we see that dude, he looks fucking insane, and he like has injuries or some shit and takes time off, doesn't get a fight. I don't think people want to fight the dude half the time. It seems like we've talked about Montel Jackson being a breakout guy like year after year. I know back a few years ago, we were all picking him to break out and he just can't get a fight and shit. The dude's still like fucking on a 5-fight winning streak, just knocked somebody out. Blackshear knocked him out cold in like fucking 15 seconds or some shit. Like that's a guy that I think could break out immediately if he'd get a fucking fight consistently.
Well, like he's fought once per year.
Yeah.
In 22, 23, and 24, he fought once per year. Some of that is him pulling out. Some of that is who he's fighting pulling out.
Basharat ducked him. So
Basharat ducked him.
Yep.
Saeed ducked him, and then he ducked.
He's scary. That guy's fucking scary, man. Top 10 talent that just can't consistently get fights.
Got to fight.
He would be a good pick. That would count. He's ranked 15th right now. That works. Next up, we are moving on to the featherweight division. Last year, we had a pick for Tapuria. Pretty good pick.
Yeah.
That was Sean. Wes picked Volk, and I picked Evuev. Almost got it. Sean.
Isn't it you?
I don't go first. I don't know shit. It's not going to change anything I do.
I think it's Tapuria. I don't know if he fights twice. I think he fights once and maybe moves up to 55 for a super fight. I know there's been talks about him fighting Dubronx at 55, and then if he wins that, he gets a title shot. That'd be pretty fucking cool. I don't think there's a 45er that can beat him right now. I know you liked Evloev last year. You might like Evloev this year, but he's boring. I don't know. As we've seen with Valishvili, like they really don't. They put up a lot of obstacles for guys like that to get title shots. So I don't know if he'll even get one. So yeah, I think it's Tapuria. I'm not sure how many fights he has at featherweight. Probably just one this year, and then maybe one at lightweight. But he's the real.
That makes it an even better pick. Fewer chances to lose the belt.
Yes, sir.
Wesley.
Yeah, Topuria is fucking king, fucking Cockman. Like that's the dude. There's nobody at 45 touching that guy. I'm completely sold. I always liked Topuria, but I thought Volk would be a tough matchup. Absolutely not. Like I thought he would be a tough matchup, but I remember us all breaking that fight down and saying that if Volk fought him when he fought him that soon, Volk was going to get knocked out, and that's exactly what fucking happened. He should have never took that fight that soon. I don't think it matters. Like Topuria is that guy. Thought Max looked like very good against him for a short amount of time, and then he's the first guy to ever. Then he's the first guy to ever get Max. Like that's the real deal, Holyfield. That guy's incredible. Yeah, he's gonna be the champ. You gotta make like the Lopez has got to get a shot. I think Eloev should get a shot. Like, but neither of those guys are beating Topuria. He's just too good, man. He's too well rounded. Hits like a fucking truck. Boxing's incredible. Like that guy's for real. I have a feeling though that he's gonna probably fight Lopez, and they're gonna make some kind of super fight up at 55. He just when those guys start almost demanding that, like he is, and he's in the position that he is. I'm not sure some people realize how like big Topuria is like worldwide, like in Spain and over in Europe and shit. That dude is like a massive fucking star. He has a lot of pull in that regard. And I think he's going to probably get what he wants. I'm not sure who he gets at 55, and I'm not sure it's a great ideal either. Could you imagine like guys like No Bronx and shit getting a hold of you? Yeah, he could knock out No Bronx, but dudes like that getting a hold of you is a little bit different than guys at 45 getting a hold of you. So, yeah, Topuria champ, the guy's the real, absolute real.
Speaking of worldwide appeal, the Cologne, Germany native fighting out of Morocco now, Otman Azatar, not to be confused with his brother, the Bagman Azatar, walking through the souks of Morocco last month. Boom. Big ass Otman Azatar painting, arms raised, very triumphant.
He runs Morocco, huh?
Yep, serious business over there. Serious business. Wait until we get to our middleweight picks, breakout picks, because might have something surprising for you. I'm going to make it 3 for 3 with Topuria on this one. Don't need to stick around and explain too long. We'll move on to our breakouts from last year. Sean, you had Joe Anderson Brito. He went 1-1. I had Charles Jourdain. He went 1-2. Oof. Wes, the clear winner of this division.
Big dub.
With Diego Loops going 3-0 and becoming a title contender. Sean, who we got this year?
Yeah, Wes went from picking Lopez, who just beat Pat Sabatini as a plus 100 fighter. And now he's basically getting a title shot. That's a very good pick by Wes. I got Patricio Pitbull.
He's gonna make it. I like that.
I think he's gonna annoy the fuck out of PFL enough that they're gonna finally release him. And Dana has said that he thinks he's a action fighter and a good fighter, so I think he signs him, and I think he's not a young guy, so they're not going to give him some chump. They're going to give him someone good, and maybe he wins that fight. So from out of the organization to maybe a top 5 fighter,
maybe.
I'd love to see it. I don't know how many miles Pitbull's got left on him, so the matchup is very matchup dependent.
He might get here and get smoked. So
yeah, and historically that's happened a lot with Bellator guys and stuff that they
their first fight.
A lot of times they bring guys over at the right time for that to be the result.
Yeah, so they did it a little bit with Pride back in the day. Sadly, I remember vividly. Experiencing that at the time. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go with a guy that was pretty fucking bad his first UFC run, and I think the guy's on a trajectory of almost like Brandon Moreno type, maybe. But I'm gonna go with Zalal. I think that guy's
More
he
Morocco. Oh,
he was horrible. Got cut, got with a good gym at Factory X, and that guy's looked very very good lately. Ground game is insane. Hands and kickboxing has gotten so much better. And he's got a big fight coming up at the beginning of the year. He gets Calvin Cater coming up. So if he wins that fight, you're talking about a very big jump in the rankings, and that dude could leap into the top 10 with a win over that guy. So I'm going to say Yusuf Zalal is on a Brandon Moreno type career track.
This one, it might have to go to the judges. Can we count the Korean Superboy?
Yes, absolutely.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I looked at him.
take that.
I thought
Yeah.
that was that's a decent pick. Yeah.
I think that could be a thing because, again, he's one of those guys that if he wins, it's going to be exciting. He's going to get pushed because of the story and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we're going Korean Superboy for the featherweight re-breakout.
There's some guys on in the top 40, 50 or so that like Mariscal, guys like Steve Garcia is getting Edson Barbosa coming up. Like
I know that's a big fight. Yeah.
And that dude's on like
I had
five
Steve Garcia a couple of years ago as a breakout guy. Now he's won like 5 straight fights by like
all
knockouts.
TKOs. Yep, and gets Edson Barbosa next month. Like that dude could make
he's gonna get smoked.
I think it's coming to an end for old Steve Garcia.
I don't know.
I mean, he could get, but that's like the matchup. That's like if he beats Barbosa, though, you want to talk about breakout? Like, holy fuck, that'd be. He's gonna have to probably stop Edson. Like, that's gonna be 6 in a row. Like, that's a breakout. Got a chance.
Yep.
When's that fight happening?
Middle of February, something like that. Yeah, February. Yeah.
Fun times. I was trying to see if I could find a line for it already. Anyway, my we went through the breakouts. Lightweight division. Sadly, I mean not sadly. Proudly, we all picked Du Bronx. Sadly, we were all wrong. I think that's how that works. Wesley, I believe it's your turn to go first. I really should be doing the first on the breakout fighters, not the champs, because it doesn't matter if we all pick the same champs. Whatever. Wes.
Yeah, it pains me, but I'm finally gonna say I think Mac and Cheese is gonna be the champ at the end of the year. I think he beats Sarukian. I do think that's probably an okay fight, but man, Mac and Cheese has gotten like very, very fucking good, man. Like the guy added hands to like his already dominant wrestling and shit. Like, I think if there is a guy there that could pull something, it's Do Bronx, but I just don't think anybody's pulling anything off on this guy. Think he'll be the champ at the end of the year. Do they pull him up? Like, I know they was talking some super fights of some shit with Mac, but I don't know. He'll have this belt at the end of the year. I don't think Sarukian's got it to stop his takedowns and shit, man. I don't think anybody's got it to stop that guy's takedown. So he's champ at the end of the year.
Yawn.
I
Do
know.
you see a less bleak future for us, Sean?
No, he's ducking our boy Du Bronx. He's gonna fight and he's gonna beat Sarukian, and then he's gonna go up and fight for the welterweight belt, which is fucking annoying. And he's gonna duck Du Bronx. So yeah, he's only gonna fight. He's only gonna fight once at lightweight in 2025. So enjoy.
You know what's gonna happen is Khabib's gonna do one too many promos for another organization. And as soon as Mac and Cheese goes up to 170, they're going to strip him. They're going to get Du Bronx in there. He's going to smash somebody up. and we're going to end 2025 with Do Bronx as the champ again.
Let's
as
go.
It should always be.
Go.
Last year, the breakout. Is it Steve Garcia or a different Garcia?
That is Steve Garcia.
Yeah. But he's a 145er.
I know. I thought
So
he was
no.
a 155er last year.
He was bouncing around between weight classes.
Yeah.
We all lose this one. Sean had Steve Garcia, Wes had Mateus Robeshki, and I had some dude named Aliev. Sultan Aliev didn't fight.
Tough.
Really knocked it out of the park.
Good
with our
work.
Weight picks. Yeah. Wes, you get first pick of the litter here at lightweight.
I'm gonna go with get to the Brazilian theme and go with John Silva. That guy's a maniac. Incredibly fun fights last year. The stoppage over Drew Dober, just an insane fucking fight. Guy throws down, comes forward, throws down. So he's a fun fighter, gonna get opportunities. Knocked out Jourdain, beat Dober so bad they had to stop the fight. The guy's legitimate. He gets I'm not even going to try to pronounce
Agdasarian.
I'm going to let Sean do that. He gets him in February, so has a fun matchup in February. Dude's down in like the top 20 something or something right now. So yeah, I think he'll put on a couple very fun, exciting fights this year, probably a couple knockouts, and going to move up quite a bit.
Sean,
That's the only
what do you got
that's
here?
the only annoying thing about Silva is he finished with Jourdain and Dober in back-to-back fights, and he gets Melsik Bagdasarian.
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah,
the fuck
that's
are we
weird
doing here?
booking.
I don't know if nobody wants to fight him or what the deal. He just wants to be active. I don't know. It's annoying.
He's scary. He's a scary man.
I think I'm gonna switch up my pick. I want to mush somebody. My pick is Paddy Pimblett. I think he is.
Nice.
The UFC obviously wants to push him. I think he might get the Moicano fight, and Moicano, he's had a
Winnable.
good resurgence, but he is, there are some flaws in his game, and Paddy, for whatever he is, he's a finisher. And if he gets that Moicano win, he might get a top 7 fight. And
He doesn't want a top 7 fight.
I know he doesn't want it, but he might get a top 7 fight, and then who knows what could happen. So
Gagey needs a get right fight in 2025. I'll tell you that much.
I
Feed him.
I don't want a reality of somehow Gaethje losing to Paddy Pimblett, so just don't even make that fight.
I'm struggling at lightweight. As you folks know, I did tireless research before the show to come up with my picks. And haven't just been, scrolling through fights, upcoming fights and stuff as we've been recording to figure them out. So
I'll give you an oldie, but a goodie of the show. Chase Hooper is going to break out this year. He is.
That's not
He
bad.
is.
Oh, okay.
That kid is like legitimate.
He's got better.
He's good, man. He had a really good 2024. That kid might actually be very good now that he's fucking like half an adult, like has some fucking hair on his chest.
Possibly. I'm going to stick with my pick from last year. He's finally going to fight this year. He was, I don't know why he didn't fight at all last year. I think he tore his knee or something. Anyway, he's supposed to fight this coming weekend against Joe Selecki. Narulo Aliev. It's not Sultan Aliev. That was an old dude from Bellator, I think. Anyway, we're going to stick with him. I forgot about him because he didn't fight for a whole year, but now it's time to remember. Next up, welterweight. Last year, Shave Cat, all of us. Boy, were we wrong.
We were close.
Got saved by a Bilal Muhammad ducking.
Yeah.
Yep.
An infected toe or some shit like that, right? Fucking infected toe. That cost us.
Hey, I once watched John Jones win the light heavyweight title with his toe literally snapped in half. Bilal Muhammad, what's your excuse? Why do you suck so bad?
Mm-hmm.
Garbage.
Sean,
Who's picking
go for
first, Bradley? Me?
Yeah.
I'll go back to the well. I'll go Shave Cat. I do think he beats Bilal Muhammad, and then maybe he has to fight old Mac and Cheese, and that might be a tough fight as well. But I can't go against the Shave Cat. I know the fight with old Gary didn't. I don't know. It kind of pushed people to push down the hype a bit, but
Gary's a tough out, man. People
he's
just
a tough
don't
out,
really
and
admit it.
yeah.
And that fight also seemed like one of those fights where we used to be training partners and we actually kind of like each other. It looked like one of those fights where neither of those dudes like wanted to fuck each other up real bad. But Brad's right too. Like Gary's a tough out. I respect that dude a lot more after that fight.
I underestimated him for sure. So yeah, my pick will be Shave Cat.
Yeah, Shave Cat for me. And like he's gonna get the Bilal fight whenever Bilal heals up his taint. And I think he beats Bilal. Then like, do you get Mac and Cheese come up? Tough fight, but size matters, especially two dudes that can like grapple and shit like that. I think he can beat Mac and Cheese. Or like, I guess it's Jack Della who's right there for a welterweight title shot.
Especially if he beats Usman.
He's probably going to beat Usman. And I think Shave Cat fucks him up. Like, Shave Cat fucks Jack. And I like Jack Della, but man, you want to talk about a bad matchup for Jack Della? I think Shave Cat fucks him up. So that's that dude's got the title at the end of the year. He's like one of the better fighters in the sport, I think.
Yeah, I think his big struggle is going to be getting the fights that he needs to get, or the fight that he needs to get. And if guys can keep it standing against him, it's not as big a deal as if he can get on top. So, if Bilal can just turn that into a clinch fest and make it ugly, I think that could put that one in a tiny bit of question. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to go with the Shave Cat again. I think this is our third sweep. Too many sweeps.
Not great.
Nope. As far as breakouts go at welterweight, Sean had the Arlby. Wes had Michael Morales. And I had Gabriel Bonfim. No real winners there. Wes gets it by a nose, I think, just because Morales, the quality of his one win. But yeah, we'll try and do better this year. Sean, what do you got?
We just need guys to fight more. That's the problem. It seems like there's a bunch of guys that seems like they could be something, and then they get one fight, max 2 fights. And
untrue. Everyone wants to fight.
Unfortunately, that's why everybody can only fight once or twice a year. I'll pick Mauricio Rufy, another one of the nerd boys, fun fighter. Nobody seems to want to fight him, so I don't know. He might be one of those guys that only gets 1 or 2 fights, but whatever fights he gets, I think he's going to be fun and exciting and has a chance to win a couple fights violently, and that might push him into the upper echelon.
Wesley?
Yeah, this division, oh man, it's bad, dude. Like you look down through the rankings of 170, man, like fuck, it's a lot of old fucking dudes down through the rankings. I think this guy can break out even more because I think he's the absolute real, and it's probably my softest pick on all of these. And I'm just going to stay with my boy Pratis. That guy's going to fight 3 or 4 times this year. He's going to wreck a few more guys this year, and he's going to be knocking on the door to that top 5 and shit. I think that guy is legitimately the real, got to put the fucking the cancer sticks down though, bro. You gotta
Nah.
you gotta get them up, dog.
That's his PEDs, man. Let the man smoke.
But I think him and Morales like are the young dudes of this division that could just take massive leaps if they can get fights. One guy fights, like Pratis will take any fight, to where Morales literally doesn't fight anybody. So I'm going to go with Pratis. I know it's a soft pick, but he's at least outside the top 10. I think he can take that massive leap this year.
Fair. I'm
It's soft.
I think I'm sticking with my pick from last year. I'm sticking with my theme of 1 year too early. I know Bonfim's got one coming up relatively early in the year. I can't remember who it's against. Oh, fuck, right in off.
Tough
so
fight.
It's a tough test.
Yeah.
But if he wins that, probably gets into the rankings, gets one more later in the year at least, and he can look impressive against the right matchup. I mean, we've seen the offense on the kid. Just have to see if he's learned how to be the nail for a bit in fights too. Middleweight division. Is this going to be our last breakout division, Sean, or are we going to subject ourselves to light heavyweight?
I don't know, man. Like it might be a waste of time.
You ought to see my heavyweight pick for breakout.
Yeah, we can
Brad's
say
Brad's gonna love it.
We can say who they are, laugh, and then not discuss them because it's a waste of time. As is
my pick's gonna be double champ because he's gonna have Brad's t-shirt and fucking belt.
Yes, that's what I want to hear, baby. I want a breakout like busting out, you know.
Busting out.
Yep. Last year, Sean, horrible pick. You lose 2 points for picking Cum Shot. Wes picked Strickland. I picked Whitaker. We were all wrong. We all underestimated Africa, as so many white men like us have done over the years. Just
never
ridiculous. Sean, who are we picking this year?
Going with the same pick I had last year. I'm going with Chimaev. I think whoever wins out of DDP or Strickland, Chimaev beats them, and I think Chimaev will get 2 fights in this year, which will be helped by the Donald getting in there. Chimaev is finally going to be on top. I think about 3 years later than he probably should have been.
He's supposed to have 7 different weight class titles by now, isn't he?
And like 8 defenses each and shit like that.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Wes, what is more likely? That Gumshot Chimaev has more than 1 fight, or that he has 0 fights?
Zero or 2?
I think you could flip a coin, honestly. Like I lean 2, but you never know with the guy. Is his fucking lung gonna come up again? Like is Krydov, one of Krydov's kids, gonna get a finger snapped while he's beating up on him? Like you never know. This man might disappear at any time. Yeah, I'm going Cum Shot as well. I just the big thing here, and what I guess a lot of people just don't realize, is that guy couldn't fight anywhere. He couldn't get in like any fucking country to go fight unless they was in a fucking Abu Dhabi. That guy couldn't get fights. He's gonna have no problem getting into the country now. Like Sean hit it right on. We all know this. We're looking at like one of the worst champions. I want to give DDP his props because he is what he is, but goddamn, man, this guy's like, I don't know how he does it. I don't. It's some Walter White shit. Like, you can't keep getting fucking away with it, bro. But whichever, like Sean hit it, whoever wins out of him and Strickland, I think Cum Shot beats either one of those. And I don't know, his second fight. What's his second fight? Who gets? Like, who gets him?
Cum Shot?
Like, Izzy's fighting
I think they give it to Izzy. If Izzy beats the French
Imavov.
Russian,
Yeah,
Imavov.
Imavov, which he should.
and if we're gonna run out of time. Like when the hell is Chimaev gonna fight? Like International Fight Week? Like we're gonna be running out of time.
Maybe he does fight once this year.
Maybe it's probably gonna be once.
The title. I think he's gonna get that title fight though, and then who knows after that. But if he gets the title fight, I think he's the champ because that guy's insane. What he did to Whitaker is absolutely fucking incredible. That was an insane performance, man. And I think he could beat either. I'd love to see Moss Strickland personally, but I'd hate to see Strickland have that belt again. So either which way, yeah, come shot for me.
DDP. Something's going to happen with Gumshot. DDP is going to beat Strickland. That fight's not going to happen. Maybe ever. Definitely not when it's initially scheduled. Maybe he gets injured, but for some reason, he only fights once this year. Ends up with the belt at the end of the year. Shenanigans abound. Maybe they can book a UFC card in South Africa, and they can invite all of the Israeli fighters. And then when they come, they can arrest them all for war crimes.
Oh, don't.
Yeah. We got the global political solutions. You never thought you were going to get that on this podcast.
Brad went to
but we got
for a few weeks, and he's got his thinking cap on.
There you go. The TV is different over there, man. I tell you. Breakouts last year. Sean had Ali Askarov.
Yeesh.
Wes had Bo Nickel. And I had terrible
Didn't
pick
work out.
in Joe Pfeiffer.
They were all pretty terrible, honestly.
Yep.
Bo Nickel didn't break out or nothing last year. Like they were all pretty terrible.
He's supposed to be wrestling or fighting Gumshot for the third time in their middleweight title series by now. Jeez, what's going on?
Yeah. No good.
Sean, what do we got for prospect?
I threw a dart on something called Marco Tulio Silva. He's fighting the Ihor
That's
next
usually
week.
Good for a win.
That's good for a win, and then maybe he gets one more win, and he may be something. I don't know. Middleweight and above is trash.
Wesley?
Nickel.
Fair.
I just last year he didn't break out. I think he gets some bigger fights this year and he wins them, and he's
Don't fight stupid.
Yeah, and he's just gonna be better. Like it's another guy we are like he's great. He is great, but he's still like fucking 7 fights or 8 whatever into a career. I think he gets better this year. He's gonna have some better ones.
He just has to fight people. I mean, for instance, Shitmadov, the Bullet is ranked 14th. What would Bo Nickel do to that guy?
Yeah, and I think he's going to do a little bit more of that kind of fighting this year, and they'll move him up. He'll have a much better year than he did last year. I still think he's like very good. Like, we gotta see it in the cage a little more. I think we will this year.
I'm tempted. I've picked him in a previous year. I think he might have even won in a previous year. Hobocop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to go back to that well, but I think I'm going to go with Rainier de Ridder.
Ooh, there we go.
Ooh. After that last performance?
Yeah,
he's got to fight. He's got to fight against
UFC jitters. He's got a fight coming up against Kevin Holland. Nice high-profile fight. Wins that
against
impressively.
A middleweight or a welterweight. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't care.
Yeah.
If he wins that impressively, then we're talking rankings and lots of time in the year to get another fight or two in. So we shall see. We shall see. Light heavyweight. Last year, the two of you picked some guy named Pereira to be the champion.
He's all right.
I went out on a limb and picked Nikita Krylov. The politics are just against me, man. It's ridiculous. What does a guy have to do to get a title shot here?
That damn
They've
war, man.
completely blackballed Nikita Krylov.
That's the war, bro.
No fights in 2024 for my boy. Sean, who are we going with for champ for next year?
Going back to the well, I'll go with Pereira. I don't know. What he's tweeting out doesn't sound like he's fighting Ankalaev next, which, like, who the hell is he fighting then? Is he fighting Carlos Ulberg? Like, what are we doing?
Please.
They really don't want to give Ankalaev a title fight, which is hilarious. So, love it. So I don't know. He probably fights. I don't know, he's fights somebody and he beats them, and then he might fight it at heavyweight against Aspinall. More on that in a tiny bit. And maybe he just fights twice. I know he fought 3 times last year. Was kind of the savior. Maybe he just has a 2-fight 2025.
Wesley.
Yeah, I'm going with Pereira as well. And I just, at this point, even if Ankalaev gets the fight, I'm not convinced he beats Pereira. Like, have people watched Ankalaev lately? Like, the dude likes to stand and kickbox and kick legs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why he's not getting a title shot.
I mean, so he probably doesn't even get a shot. If he does, I like Pereira. I favor Pereira in the matchup. If not, like, does, the winner of Yuri, Jamal Hill, probably gets another shot at him. Maybe he knocks both those dudes out. So, I'm not convinced yet that he goes to heavyweight. We'll see. I think some other things need to happen. One of my hot takes will be that there's going to be a big fight at heavyweight, but I'm not sure it's involving Pereira. So we'll say Pereira is the light heavyweight champ at the end of the year.
Yeah. Who are the other picks?
Well, I mean, the only people
Pereira or Ulberg, basically.
Yeah, the only other person that's probably got a shot at getting a shot at him is Ulberg if he beats Blachowicz. And God, imagine him kickboxing with Alex Pereira.
Yeah. Wouldn't be so pretty after that. Or
he's still probably going to
be Jan Blachowicz pull a Glover. A reverse Glover on Poatan. Get the win over this Ulberg. Test his wrestling out against one striking no grappler.
I think Pretty Boy is in a tough spot in that fight. Whether he wins or loses, I think Yanni from the block is gonna have a game plan for Ulberg. So is Jan Blachowicz gonna get a title shot in 2025? Could you imagine, like, they pass over Ankalaev for Blachowicz? Could you imagine?
Like, they're gonna give one to Jamal Hill before they give it to fucking Jan, even coming off a loss, probably.
That's dumb. Why do they hate us and not give us what we're looking for?
You taking Blachowicz? So what's happening?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
There we go.
Why not? Last year, breakout fighters. We don't have to pick new ones unless we've got anything particularly funny.
No.
Rodolfo Bellato, I think.
Yes. Okay. Didn't fight.
Yeah. Petrino, the big muscle dude, went 1-2. And Kenny
got knocked
Nunchucks
the fuck out twice in a row.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I'm with Brad on a breakout though. If we're just putting names down,
let's go.
I like the last Ottoman. Like, seriously, he gets the OQ labia here next month. If he does the Q labia what he's been doing to these other bums, that's definitely a breakout. That dude's on more fucking Moroccan or Turkish fucking mountain yams than
That's
the law should
fair.
allow.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll put that one down as a team effort and move on to heavyweight, where two dummies picked Tom Aspinall to be the champion at the end of the year, and one brilliant tactician of war picked John Jones. We nailed it, boys. We got it. It got me up to a big 3-11 for overall predictions, as you can tell why. And Wes, you had 4. Sean, champion last year with 5. We should probably try and do better, but that wouldn't be so much fun. What are our predictions for this year? Sean.
That's me?
Yeah.
I'll take Aspinall. I don't know if the Jones fights happens. Even if it does, I'll probably take Aspinall. And if it doesn't, then he's going to fight maybe fucking Pereira, because he's kind of already got rid of most of the other heavyweights. I mean, I guess he could fight Cyril Gahn, but I would like Aspinall in that one as well. So it's going to be Aspinall, whatever way it happens.
Wesley, is it going to be Aspinall?
I think the Bones and Aspinall fight happens. I think they make that fight. I honestly do. I think it's to the point to where they're going to give John some kind of offer that he's not going to refuse. He said he'd fight him for a crazy. They're going to give him a crazy amount of money for that. That's a massive fight. They can make money off that fight, paying John $20 million, whatever the fuck. Look, and until somebody beats the fucking greatest fucking cage fighter I've ever seen in my life, I'm picking him. And if there's a guy at this point in time on this planet that could do it, it's Aspinall. No doubt about it. Like, I'm props to Aspinall. That guy's very, very good. Maybe the most skillful heavyweight that we've ever seen. But until somebody takes out John fucking Jones, the greatest fighter ever, I'm gonna pick John Jones. And I just, it's a close fight. However you look at that, I think that's a very close fight. John Jones is still fucking John Jones. Probably the smartest in cage fighter that I've ever seen. We're gonna see that fight though. That's my prediction that we see it. I'm gonna pick Jones. It will probably be his last fight if he wins it, though. I think John walks on that because the payday will just be insane to take the fight. Crazy fight to go out on a win. So I think John fights once. He fights Aspinall. He wins, retires. He's got the belt. He won't they'll take that belt from him. He won't I'm retiring. Here you go. He'll make it difficult, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, he's never actually going to announce it. He's retired.
And now, exactly, he'll string along a bunch of motherfuckers because he likes that. He loves that type of shit. So, but that will be his last fight, and I think he'll have the belt at the end of the year. Tim or Aspinall, though, boys, I think that fight's absolutely happening.
I was just going to pick Jones because I think he's the best at shenanigans.
And he's still going to have it.
he's not going to fight at all this year. But they're going to be talking about the negotiations with Aspinall, and he's going to be dragging this shit out, and he's going to have the belt at the end of the year, despite not fighting at all. And it's going to take until 2026 until Aspinall finally actually gets
a full belt.
So my pick for 2025, John Jones. Wes, I'm excited to hear this breakout pick for heavyweight.
Well, it's heavyweights. Look down the list. I mean, who else can you pick? Who's on an undefeated run? Who's under 40 on an undefeated run in the heavyweight division that's outside the top 10?
Phil the Freeze.
Mick Parkin.
There we go.
I mean, but seriously, the only dude you could literally pick, like go through the top 25
Oh, yeah.
of the heavyweight division. There's no other dude in the UFC you could say that guy could be a breakout fighter in 2025 outside the top 10. It's Mick Parkin. That's literally it. It's the only fucking guy.
I'm just trying to look for a fatter dude.
Or you could say, or the good answer would be Francis Ngannou comes back and deads every man that stands in front of him, Aspinall or John Jones, and that's the breakout heavyweight. Nah, he'll never fight UFC again.
Rug.
Well, I mean, bring him over. He demolishes most of the division right now.
Exactly. There it is. That's the pick.
It's sad. There's some fun dudes.
Heavyweight should be stupid and fun.
Yes, and there's a bunch of them outside the UFC. There's so many outside the UFC, bro.
Brutal.
Those Russians that PFL have, PFL's got a bunch of Russian, Brazilian heavyweight dudes that are fun as fuck that all just knock each other out and throw down and shit. What's the one dude's name that wins it every year? Gostov or whatever. That dude's a fucking tank, man. Just takes guys down and actually deads them, drops hammers on them. Sign
got
these
the entire
guys.
Cast of that Icarus documentary in PFL right now.
PFL.
Yeah. Hot takes for 2025. We'll
want to
knock these
recap
out.
our ones from 2024.
Sure. What did we do last year? Sean McGregor loses to Chandler and then fights Diaz.
I was hot.
Just that close.
He catches a rape charge and does more cocaine he's ever done in a single calendar year.
I'm pretty sure when you said that one, I said something about he'll probably fight 0 times, not rather than 2. Wes, you said slap fight will be the biggest sport in the world.
I think
that is actually true.
100% true. Ask Dana White.
More impressions on TikTok than the NFL. Word would have it.
He was saying that EPL and soccer and shit, and I'm like, this guy's
bigger than every sports organization in the world
combined.
Yep. Love it,
man.
Love
it. So Wes was correct for that one, nailed it. And the Ali Act in MMA, very not correct, but there has been a lot of movement, shall we say, on the class action suits.
They got paid before Donald got in there and revoked that shit. So luckily they got in there when they did.
Yeah, because I got a take for this year that's about the complete opposite of of what I said last year.
And my 2 were 0 positive steroid tests.
Damn.
Did we have any announced?
Oh, sure, but none that matter, of course.
No, nobody cares anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're right.
Nailed that one. And slap fight aired on UFC pay-per-view. I think we only got the ads constantly.
They got their own pay-per-view though, right? Didn't Slap Fight get a pay-per-view though last year? Its own pay-per-view? It wasn't on UFC, but they're doing their own paid show. That Saudi show was a fucking a pay-per-view slap fight.
Nobody bought.
That's embarrassing. That's so fucking embarrassing.
That's bad.
That's worse than every bad MMA startup that I've ever seen in my life. Who is sinking money into this shit? Although I guess they don't have to, because you can just find any bums.
Well, you pay the guys $500 each. It's not that costly.
Yeah, but still, that one is wrong because I said on a UFC pay-per-view. So we gotta have standards around here, Sean, what do we got for this year?
The only one I have, the hottest of hot takes, will actually get better fights than we did last year because they have the TV rights
coming up.
The rights deal is coming up. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. If they're going to stay with ESPN, break it up, go to Netflix only, or whatever they're going to do. But I'm hoping that's going to force them into putting on better fights and better fighters fighting more often instead of just filling these cards with absolute nobodies. I'm praying. I'm hoping and praying. It's a way more than a hot take.
I think you're wrong. You know what I think could make better fights outside the right still, because I don't think that's going to really matter. I think they just care about content production. Going back out on the road more, I think could make for getting better fight cards, getting out of the warehouse a little more, which they claim to be doing, but I don't think they give a fuck about quality of content. I just think these places now, these streaming sites, like they're going to break it up. They're probably going to be on ESPN, but I think they're going to be streaming somewhere as well. Some cards, kind of like the NFL. They're going for the NFL model to where it's everywhere. Every property's got a little bit of it, and they want content. They just want hours of content. They don't give a fuck what it is. My hot takes are the Jones Aspinall fight happens in 2025. I think what I said about the Aliak last year, I think we are in the complete reverse of that with the new who controls the United States government now going forward, and Dana White literally having an open line to that government. Workers' rights in this country are going to be smashed like you've never seen in recent memory in all aspects of work, not just quote unquote contractors or whatever. Workers' rights in this country are going to be like squashed on. I think it's not a secret. That's kind of open. That's kind of what that party stands for, and they're going to act on it. And I think that's going to come over to MMA. You're going to see the UFC start. They're going to spread their reach of how they have a control on their company and the sport like never before. And one last one, that whole team MMA thing to where they're bringing out all these mush brain old motherfuckers, dude. That's going to last about 3 days. And that's a money laundering operation is what that is. Like, that's all that shit is. But let's hope for Sean's prediction to be right. We get a few more better fights in 2025. Let's pray that we don't see favorites hit at over 70% in 2025, because I might actually be able to make some money. And I mainly hope that we can get the shit bag stuff that we see constantly with this stuff a little bit more out of the main spotlight, because it's hard to be a fucking MMA fan in 2025 and probably the past decade or so. Only seems to be getting worse with the shit bags around. So
I mean, like a War Machine documentary series, something like that. Is that a good idea?
I mean, the head of it all just got put on the board of one of the biggest companies in the world, and there's video just a couple years ago him smacking his wife in public. So
in public, yeah. Like,
that's literally the world we live in now. And, all your incels in their basement right now with their fucking typewriters, they're like, hey, that's quit being a snowflake, you cuck, and smack your wife around. Quit being a pussy.
I'm
back. It's been a while, dog. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been pent up. I think my hot take, or my take prediction, is the media rights get split up. They go to streaming services. They've got all of these regional products on the streaming services, and the roster balloons up over 800 fighters.
Oh my God.
I
mean, here's the thing.
I think you're close to right, bro. I really do, man.
At that point, if they do split it up, then we just literally don't have to give a fuck about, like, right now,
anything outside of pay-per-views,
because it's UFC, because everything is labeled UFC Fight Night, whatever. If they do it where, like, they had Strikeforce challengers,
it loses that.
Talk about these shitty fights.
It's
gonna be like boxing. You just tune in for the main event if you really want to, and you don't have to give a fuck about any other fights on there.
You're getting
not a bad
closer and
thing.
closer to that.
I'm already mostly there. So
Yep.
that one, is there another one? I don't know. I think maybe we finally get rid of Dana. Because he's going to have something better that gets offered to him.
They're absolutely grooming that Campbell dude, whatever,
Campbell.
to eventually take over. Like Dana's close, but that dude loves the celebrity of it too much to give it up now. But you're right, he's not. It's not going to be too much longer. And Hunter Campbell's going to take the shit over. Absolutely.
There we go.
He's doing a lot of shit right now.
Yeah,
anyway.
he does.
Of,
Apparently, in the back scene, like it's almost like when Lorenzo was around, the dudes that have any kind of pull, like John, they talk to Hunter over Dana. Like they used to talk to Lorenzo over Dana. They negotiate with him now more than they do Dana. He's still a face, which is incredible concern. The dude smacked his wife in public just a few years ago. That dude's the wannabe face of your company. It's pretty wild.
4 more years.
Sometimes
I could see four or 5 more years. I think that's about the time frame. But when this rights deal, if they hit this like rights deal out of the park, which they probably will, I think he starts moving away from that shit more. Getting put on the board of like Meta and shit, that's a sign to where he's starting to like move off into other bigger shit. Not to mention like Ari Emanuel is starting to like, if you read about this shit, they're moving money around, buying different companies and shit. Like they're leveraging the UFC and Endeavor to purchase it. It's above my head with that shit, but him and Dana are like maneuvering to get themselves in position where they don't have to even care about this shit anymore.
Yep. Hopefully for the rest of us.
Needs
to go back to some people who actually care about I think Dana cares about MMA in a grand sense, but cares more about himself and his career at this point, and not so much about putting on the best version of the sport. So
yeah, it used to be love. Now I think it's completely profit. Completely. Yep. Like it's always been profit. Don't get me wrong, but used to be a little love in there too.
Well, that brings me to my final prediction of 2025. I will actually make some money betting MMA this year.
That's a hot take.
Let's try.
That's a tough one. We'll see. But I think that does it. We didn't trim too much time off of last year's show, but we got a good 15 minutes. Enough to keep Sean alive, I think.
We'll see.
But I think that does it for us. We'll be back next week.
Next week for 311. Good fight card.
Yeah. Sounds good. That sounds like a thing that's happening. There's a card this weekend as well. Any picks or any dog?
Looked at it yet.
Fair. Nobody cares. And that's my producer and my. It's time to get the fuck out of here. So we'll see you next week.